my name is Sarah. Welcome to 20-minute beginner flow yoga. This is going to be a very simple sequence for anyone who is new to practicing yoga or you're just maybe looking to brush up on the basics. We'll get started by finding a comfortable seated position in our space. If you'd like, you can use a yoga mat. You could also use some yoga blocks for extra support during this. And once you've found that comfortable place where you can settle in, you can either soften your gaze or close your eyes. And just taking a few breaths here, you're drawing your awareness inward, letting go of anything that happened before this moment, anything that's happening after. Allow your awareness to merge with your breath. Then taking a big, beautiful breath in, you're going to sweep both your hands up over your head, lengthening through your fingertips. As you exhale, you're going to drop your left hand into your lap. Extend your right hand overhead. You're rooting down through your sitting bones here, being mindful not to collapse into this posture. Feeling that stretch through your right side body. Inhale takes you back to center. Fill your lungs. Exhale, you can drop your right hand into your lap now, reaching over with the left hand, and you're grounding down through your hip bones, breathing into your left side. And then inhale back to center. Exhale, you can lower your hands down onto your mat. You're going to sweep your legs underneath you, and we'll come into child's pose next. So you're sinking back onto your heels. Your knees are about the distance of your mat. Begin walking your hands away from your body, sinking your heart space down towards the earth. Reach into your fingertips. Now, if this is feeling too intense, you can always have a block underneath your sitting bone here, or maybe a rolled up blanket, just for that extra support. Walking just your hands over to the right side. You have the option to place your left hand on top here to increase that stretch. Root down through your hips, drop down through your chest. And then inhale your hands back to the center of your space. Exhale, walk your hands over to the left side. Again, have that option to place your right hand on top. And then begin walking your hands back to center. You're going to very slowly begin rising up. We meet in tabletop posture. Your shoulders are stacked over your hands, your hips are over your knees. You're drawing down to the tops of your feet. Take a few rounds of cat and cow here. As you inhale, your chest comes forward. You're drawing your belly down towards your mat. Exhale, rounding your spine, tucking your tailbone. Big breath in, come into cow, gaze straight ahead. Moving your spine in the opposite direction, coming into cat. Feel yourself pushing the ground away through the palms of your hands. And feel yourself moving through these two postures with your own breath. You're moving with your own pace here, feeling your spine warming up. Really noticing how it feels when breath and movement sync up. Noticing how that feels in your body. A few more breaths. When you're ready, you can meet me back in that neutral spine in tabletop. Taking a breath in, you're going to lift your right hand up overhead, stacking that hand over your shoulder, lifting through your fingertips. Exhale, you're going to thread your arm underneath the left arm. Lower your right shoulder down towards your mat. And your left arm can either extend out, it can also rest along your lower back. See what feels best for you. At the same time, you're sinking your sitting bones back towards your heels here. Big inhale, slowly unwind, send your right hand up overhead again. Exhale, float your hand back down onto your mat. Might feel good to take a few rounds of cat and cow here. Find your breath again if you've lost it. And then meeting me back in tabletop position. We'll float through on the other side. Extend your left hand up overhead, opening through your shoulder. Exhale, thread the needle. You're lowering your left shoulder down onto your mat. Right arm can either extend or rest along your lower back. You're breathing into that expansion through your upper body. Gently unwind, send your left hand back overhead one final time. Exhale, root it back down onto your mat. Staying in tabletop, you're going to begin gazing over your right shoulder, looking back at your right hip. Now at the same time, you're going to send your right hip forward a little bit. You're not going to notice much movement physically here, but you're really going to feel that engagement through your right side body when you do that, when you make that little shift. And then unwind, come back to center. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, gaze over your left shoulder now, looking back at your hip. And then at the same time, send that left hip forward a little bit. To center. From here, we'll move into downward facing dog. Tuck your toes, send your hips up and back. And your fingers are spread nice and wide here. You're rooting down through the four corners of your feet, bringing your ears in line with your arms. Drawing your navel in towards your spine, and you're shifting your hips back. Maybe you soften through your knees a little bit, just so you can get your hips farther back into that posture. And taking a few breaths here, letting your joints, your muscles soften. Might feel nice to pedal out your feet, walk your dog by alternating lowering each heel onto your mat. See how that feels. could also move your hips side to side. Maybe see how it feels when you take a twist here. Take your right arm, reach for that left ankle, and vice versa. And when you're ready, you're going to begin shifting forward, coming into a high plank. You're engaging your core, stacking your shoulders over your hands. Take a full breath in at the top. Exhale, chaturanga, lower down onto your mat. From here, you're going to flip your feet and lifting your chest up. And you come into cobra pose. You're drawing your shoulder blades together behind you, lifting through the crown of your head. Exhale, shift your hips back. We'll come into child's pose. Inhale lifts you back into tabletop. Tuck your toes, hips go back into downward facing dog. As you take a breath in, lift your right leg, three-legged dog. Drawing that foot behind you. Exhale, bring your knee in towards your chest, rooting it at the top of your mat between your hands. We come into a runner's lunge. Your back knee is long and active here. You're lifting through your hips. And just take a moment, find your grounding here, find your stability. And then we'll take an easy twist to the right. So lifting your right hand, lengthening through your fingertips. Exhale, ground that hand back down onto your mat. Moving into seated half splits, drop your back knee, untuck your back toe, shift your hips back here, drawing your nose towards your knee here. Inhale, low lunge, shift your weight into that front foot. Keep your back knee rooted down. You can always stay right where you're at if this is feeling good. Or you can begin engaging your inner thighs, drawing them in towards each other, lifting your chest up, sweep your hands up overhead, reach towards the ceiling here. Exhale, ground your hands back down onto your mat. We'll come into that runner's lunge again. So tuck the back toe, lift the back knee, send your right foot back behind you, three-legged dog. Exhale, lower your foot back down onto your mat. We arrive in downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg lifts behind you, three-legged dog. Exhale, runner's lunge, draw your knee in towards your chest, place it at the top of your space. We arrive in that runner's lunge. Stay nice and light through your hips, then take that easy twist to the left. Stack your hand over your shoulder, lift through your fingertips. Exhale, float your hand back down onto your mat. We come into seated half splits. Drop the back knee, untuck the back toe, shift your hips back. You're keeping your hips square here, drawing that right hip forward, left hip back. Inhale into that low lunge, shifting forward. Find your grounding. You can stay right where you're at or begin lifting your chest up. Keep your inner thighs engaged. Square your hips to the front. Exhale, root your hands back down onto your mat. Come into runner's lunge, so lifting your back knee, tucking your back toe. Send your left foot behind you, three-legged dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Coming into that high plank again, breath in at the top of your push-up. Exhale, chaturanga, lower onto your mat. Inhale into cobra. Feel your heart space opening. Draw shoulders open. Exhale, child's pose. Sink your heart space down towards your mat. Settling in for a few breaths. As you breathe in, start to walk your hands back towards your body, lifting your chest, and then sweep both your legs in front of you. We come into staff pose. You're staying tall through your spine. You can keep your knees soft, you don't have to lock them out here. Taking a breath in, and as you breathe out, folding forward, drawing your belly towards your spine. Inhale lifts you. Move into half Lord of the Fishes. So draw your right knee in. You're going to place that foot on the outside of your left knee. So it's across that left leg. And then taking your left elbow, you're going to hook it on the outside of that leg. Begin drawing your right shoulder back. You can either gaze towards the back of the room or the side, whatever feels more comfortable. Each inhale lifts you a little taller. Each exhale twists you a little deeper. Begin to unwind, square your shoulders, and then go ahead and lower your right leg down onto your mat in line with the left. You're going to draw that left knee in now. Place it on the outside of your right. This is where you hook your right elbow on the outside of that knee. Begin twisting away from it. Stay lifted through the crown of your head, rotating from your lower back. Gently unwind, come back to the center. You can lower that left leg back down. Taking the soles of your feet, drawing them together, we arrive in butterfly posture. And if you want to feel this more in your hips, bring your feet closer to your body. If you want to feel a stretch more in your knees, bring them farther away. Inhale lifts you, exhale fold. Keeping your chest drawn down, walk your hands over to the right side. Inhale, walk your hands back to center. Exhale, walk your hands over to the left. And then come back to center. You can lift your chest back up, draw your knees together. We'll come into bow pose, so doing a little bit of core work. Now you're sitting back, you have a couple different variations here. Your heels can remain grounded on your mat, you can lean back. Your legs can hover, you can also grip underneath the knees. And for the full expression, you can straighten out your legs. Let's hold for 3 breaths. Exhale, go ahead and lower your legs. You're gonna lie back onto your mat.